Greetings, greetings, greetings. We are here in the lab, Jamal Touré, and it's only me this evening, only me, to be with you all on Run Tell That. Again, our show that we seek to inform people and enlighten people. And so it's just me on the show tonight. And I want to have other people on the show, but I was concerned and I was afraid that they might be afraid to speak and talk because some things that I want to bring up and throw out there. And so that's why it's just me. Because as I told Julius Hall, I said, at least I know I ain't going to be scared to say the things that I want to have heard and that I want you all to get. And so it's one of the times that I'm doing commentary. But then also let you know that it might seem I'm a little bit somber right now because I have lost or misplaced my Android phone. I have my iPhone. I got my iPhone, but my Droid phone, I don't have it. And that's what I usually use for us to do any shows on the ATR or Our Black Media Network. So I'm a little despondent about that. I've been trying to look around for it. Can't find it. When I finish the show, I'm going to dash off to another spot and see if I can locate it. And so I'm so upset that I need to get me a drink. This is Fasara's Lemonade. Fasara's Lemonade. 919-302-9724. Done by my relatives up in Durham, North Carolina. My family up in Durham, North Carolina. The Knight family. Brother Fahim, Sister Sylvia, band the Knight family. Great people up there. They do Fasara's Lemonade. And I shouldn't be drinking lemonade. That's what Coach Carter said, but I got to drink me something because I'm trying to find my phone. I'm so despondent. I'm a little sad. So. This is the real deal. Now, if you can get a hold of Fasara's Lemonade through my cousin Fahim and my cousin Sylvia, then you got Sister Latasha right here. Sister Latasha, Queen's Lemonade, also a variety of them. And like I tell folks, Queens, it's like it's a drug. So you got Queen right here, Sister Latasha, D Mama. So bam, right here. But some of y'all probably saw the advertisement that we had put out there for Run Tell That for this time, for this show right here. And the show is titled Sex, Violence, and Religion. Now, some of y'all, when y'all saw the image, I know some of y'all went back in time. Y'all like, wait a minute. That goes back to KRS-One with his album, Sex and Violence. And that the imagery, basically, that was the imagery from his album cover. So, but there's some other images that I had to kind of cover up that might have been a little too risque for some of y'all. So, but sex and violence. And so that's what we're here to talk about, sex and violence. That's why I said I did not want to have people who will be hesitant about speaking. I want to put it on out there. So I'm going to put out that sex is about sex right now. Things have come down the pipe. No, there's no pun intended with regard to that regarding sex. Some things have come down the pipe from the U.S. Supreme Court. We have heard about it, and we kind of had an inclination what was about to happen with regards to Roe v. Wade. I say this to anyone, and I've heard ministers also going through it out there. And Reverend Betty Jones, glad to have you with us on this evening. That ministers have said, and my sister, my fam, again, from HVJ, Heavens V. Jenkins High School, Maggie Sam in the house, that what has happened, that when you go and talk about abortion, that truly is a matter between a woman and her creator. So even if you are a minister, a person who says they follow religion and that they follow the tenets, that understand that any of us understand that our actions do boil down to how we deal with our creator and how we want to handle that. When people engage in stealing, they know what they shouldn't be doing, but they still engage with it. But that becomes something that they have to deal with their creator about. Now, some other people might say that stealing might be permissible. Yes, there are times that some people say that stealing may be permissible. Someone may like to tell lies all the time, but under some spiritual foundation, they're going to say that there are times that a lie is permissible. A lie is permissible if it's to hold down confusion. So somebody else will say, no, you shouldn't do that. But again, that's between that person and their creator. So now something as precious as with regards to one's body, oneself, that why would we then let men dictate to women what should happen with regards to their bodies? Men should not be involved with that because men don't want women telling them what to do with their bodies. So, but the Supreme Court has made a decision, a glaring decision that will impact people and impact generations. That again, when you have extreme behaviors, you see extreme madness, and that's what has happened with regards to the decision by the Supreme Court. Extreme madness. And I told folks what should happen. We should be up in arms about this. Those people who have a concern about women, a woman having a right to choose with regards to what should happen with her body, you should be up in arms about this. You should be out here chanting. You should be out there standing up. You should be making sure that things are going to change, that you are now going to seize the moment to make a change. But some of us, we're not doing that. And so I have to put this out here right now. What you have witnessed, what has occurred, what has arisen in this situation is that Caucasian women, and I'm putting it out there, I shared it with some folks last week. I said Caucasian women are the reason why we have this issue right now. Some of y'all probably saying, ooh, and that's why I said I didn't need people on the show tonight who might be scared and don't want to engage in this conversation about that. Caucasian women are the reason why we have this situation right now. So often people are able to look at Black folks and talk about why Black folks are in the condition that they're in right now. It is, guess what? Caucasian women, and thank you, Reverend Small, that's right. And so I'll say this, Reverend Small is one of the people that made me have an appreciation even greater for him when he had said on one of his shows, when he gave a perspective, and I was like, that's why I love this man right here. This man, because again, we understand the sanctity. We understand the connection to God. We understand that each one of us. And so now I'm throwing it out there. Caucasian women are the reason why we have this issue right now. And some of y'all probably saying, what does that have to do with anything? Oh, Jamal, you shouldn't be saying that. Why I'm saying that is because when Caucasian women had the opportunity to vote for people, you heard it just said, to vote for people who had sensible platforms, people who had fairness and equity on their minds, when they were not being ideologues, Caucasian women chose not to vote and support those people who had sensible platforms in general. Why am I saying Caucasian women went and voted based on race? This is not Jamal Touré saying this. This is what the numbers talk about. They discuss this, that what happened for African people in particular, though people try to throw it out there, we often will not necessarily just vote based just on race. It's not just race. Because we've been forced not to, because many people who run for office are not people coming from our race. So we are used to being vote for other people from other ethnicities. So that's not anything new for us. That's not a phenomenon. That's something different. For us, we are used to that. But for Caucasians, and again, political science is going to tell you, again, I'm saying those who are not trying to play the game, they're going to tell you that Caucasians vote on racial lines. They will go and vote. So here go Caucasian women voting for their fathers, voting for their husbands, for their sons, for their uncles, for their nephews, their cousins, who did not have their interests at heart, but they voted just on racial lines, now are stunned by what has happened with regard to the Supreme Court. When their uncles, their fathers, and their sons and their granddaddies have been telling them and have been saying what they wanted, what they were seeking to do. But they still voted for people. As someone said to me when I said this right here, a woman said, yeah, like we didn't vote for Hillary Clinton. Some of us still chose not to vote for Hillary Clinton. I'm like, okay. So now people want us now to rally and run behind what they're saying. I'm telling folks, no, what you better do, you better try to take a back seat, or you better come step on the same side as us and understand and listen to us, because we understand what can occur, what will happen with regards to precedents like this. So again, we will not be in this boat if Caucasian women had not voted the way that they did. And that's not just this election, or the last election, or the election before that, or election before that, or election before. It has gone back for decades now. They have been voting into place people who not had their best interests at heart for this entire country. If you want me to go back, I'll go back to the time of Richard Nixon. That it goes back in time when they began to follow the line of the Republican Party with regards to being ideologues, and then also following up with all the lies and the threats that went permeate from what we know with regards to the Nixon White House and their strategy. Oh, excuse me. I guess Reverend Small gonna probably handle me right now. He's gonna probably say, Touré, You know better than that. It goes back to Barry Goldwater in the 1960s. So that's why, okay, I'm going to go back. Oh, no, Reverend Small going to probably say, no, Teray, you know better than that. It goes back to the Dixiecrats of Strom Thurmond and the rest of them when they're now fighting civil rights. So here go again the strategy. Though they're Democrats, they break the ranks and now become Republicans. And so now it stems back from that time period where you're going to see people who are racist, who are running for office, who want to maintain power. And we see them fighting and thwarting things in the civil rights movement in the 1950s, 1960s, who are upset about what happened in the 1950s and the 1960s. And then what continues on is that those folks now, in the 1970s, begin to develop a hardcore strategy, the Southern strategy, because they knew to play off of people, playing off the ignorance of people, in particular poor Caucasians and people, Caucasians in the South. Understand that they will still bandy that about, again, racist elements. So then we're going to see Ronald Reagan doing the same thing. Reagan and the other Republicans doing the same thing. We see the Bush administrations doing and engaging in the same things also. We see that. And so guess what? Caucasian women, as opposed to them thinking and using logic and saying, what is the best interest for all of us? They were selfish. And now they want us to be selfless about this movement with regards to trying to bring back some sanity to this country. That's why I said all of us should be up in arms about this. All of us should be up in arms about this. But Caucasian women should go and acknowledge and say, we played a role in this right here. But I have not heard that come out of the mouths of many of them when I've seen some of y'all go to the rallies this past weekend. I have not heard that. I have not observed that. And so that's why an apology is definitely need to be given to people of color, in particular Black folks, when Black folks are saying, no, that person does not have our best interest at heart. Now, of course, we know that there are some Black folks who also go against the best interest of all of us too. We understand that, but that is not the majority. That's not the majority. And so we will not absolve a group of people who should be in the forefront, standing up for equal rights, but chose not to because of their relatives. And so you heard me talk about this, discuss this, that you cannot vote for someone just because they're your relative, your church member, your schoolmate, your classmate. That's not how you're supposed to vote. You're supposed to vote on who has the best campaign platforms, who has the best platforms, and will implement those platforms, not just telling you lies. Oh, they told you their platform, and they told you what they were about. And so what has happened when you now have a president of the United States who said, and former president right now, who has touted that the Roe v. Wade decision, that it basically came from his efforts with regards to how he was not going to stack the court. So it's happened. And then you have ideologues that like Anton Scalia, who's no longer there, who's deceased. And then you have Clarence Thomas, who's from Savannah, Georgia. And so no matter what you all going to talk about Clarence being from Pinpoint, stop it. You all know Clarence was no longer in Pinpoint when by the time he's like 7 years old, because he's now growing up in Currytown. That is right where now Fraser Holmes is located at. He grows up there. That's why his grandfather is right there. His grandfather, them are raising him. That's why he and his brother are going to Catholic schools, and that they're having a middle income experience. Whereas with his sister, the experience was different over there in Pinpoint because they had different fathers. So Clarence Thomas now spitting out and giving, again, some ideologues, some other thoughts right now that, again, about what are some future plans that they want to do. And so, I talk about 1950s, that these people are not becoming upset. What you all better think about, that's why I'm just throwing out there, because it's tied to sex. It's tied to sex. You need to think about something called Brown versus Board of Education. That's now talking about desegregating this society right here, saying that you have had access to communities, you have access to jobs, you have access to areas, that you have access to education. So some of those same people want to see that reverse also. And some are going to say and put it out there that they also want to see Plessy versus Ferguson. That's when they say separate and equal can happen in this country. So what you are looking at, these people, that why I say African Americans are sensitive to this right here. We understand what they are about. We understand that the hatred does not stop. The hatred is an ongoing experience that we have to deal with it. Our ancestors have been dealing with this for 400 years. It is an ongoing hatred that has gone on in the Americas. And so in this country right here, since the 1600s, be dealing with this right here. And so now Caucasian women, as I have shared, now need to pick up the mantle and say, yes, the mantle of truth and say, we have caused this problem, and we are going to take a full, firm position with regards to trying to now vote, not based on our bloodline, but based on, I'm going to throw it out there, vote on the God line, doing the godly things, on the godly things. And that's what this is about. So that's why I say sex. So yeah, with sex, some of y'all thought about sex, other type of sex. No, I'm talking about sex with regards to genders. And so we are looking at people who have not gone against the best interests of all of us and now are stunned. And there will be some people who are going to lose their lives tied to this, just like COVID, when people tried to deny COVID. Some of these the same people who denied COVID existed. Some of the same people who fought against wearing masks, and I'm talking about Caucasian women right now. I'm still on them, because some people, when I shared what I was going to talk about, they say, you know what? That is that class of people right there. Caucasian women are the most coddled and baby and taken care of than all people in this country right here. Or actually, I tell people that's this mask is used as an excuse to basically still oppress people. So with that group right there, you now got to come out that cocoon of ignorance, and again, of selfishness, and now come and join the rest of us in this fight that we've been in for some 400 years. For some people, some 200 years. Join us in this fight and listen to us. No longer come and tell us what to do. Listen to us, because we've been the ones dealing with this for a long time. So yes, so right now, we need them to step up to the plate. Just like people always try to tell Black people to step up to the plate. No, that's why I'm on here now, to tell some groups of people, you need to step up to the plate right now. Because some of us have already been there right there. We don't need to have you coddle no more. We need you to get dirty in this right here, because your fathers, your uncles, your grandparents, your brothers, your nephews, your cousins have now caused harm, and people are going to die because they're going to try to do something to find another way with regards to making a decision about their body. And people are not talking about it. People just like, okay, we got to jump on the bandwagon for them. No, it's time out for that. We don't jump on the bandwagon for them. We jump on our bandwagon. We stay on our bandwagon and tell folks to join us, because we're the ones that have the clarity. Dr. John Henry Clark said something. Dr. Clark said that when it comes to religion in general, that Black folks will out-religion everybody. In whatever spiritual foundation, Black folks will out-religion everybody. I'm paraphrasing Dr. Clark, but that's what Dr. Clark threw out there, that Black folks will out-religion everybody. We essentially, I tell folks, what we do become in most religions, we become, as I say, the moral compass for whatever, even if that's not what your ancestors were a part of. But when you become immersed in it, you become the moral compass for that particular religion or that spiritual foundation. So now, all right, we got out about sex, violence. We can get into violence. Oh, no, there's still an element of sex. Still an element of sex we're going to get into. And this goes with regards to, again, how one will identify themselves, how people identify themselves. And we jump on the bandwagon. So now I'm coming at Black folks about this too. Black folks, I'm saying we jump on the bandwagon. We like to jump on the bandwagon of other people. We jump on the bandwagon of other people. And then sometimes and push our stuff to the side and say that what the other people are doing, that's the most important thing. But I'm gonna let y'all know this. Some of y'all know this about me. I am Pan-African. I believe in the unification of Black people around the entire world. I believe in us being unified around the entire world. That means that we take care of home first. You take care of home, then I can go out and take care of everyone else. I tell folks, if I respect my humanity and take care of my humanity, then I can help other people in their humanity. That's why I say I can say this to Caucasian women, because I respect my humanity. I respect who I am. So I'm not letting you understand. I need you to respect your humanity also, because some of y'all had lied up to fall and falter because of selfishness. So this one right here, again, and that's why I said I did not need to have people who were frightened about with regards to this show, because again, I know some people get a little concerned about this. We are now going to talk about the LGBTQ. We're going to talk about you. This is what we're talking about. This is what we're talking about. This is all real stuff. I'm saying this is all real stuff that people don't like to have these conversations, but this is a conversation that we need to have. Because see, somebody tried to tell me issues about what's going on with Black people, why Black people act a certain way, why we don't like certain people, why we oppress people and all this other stuff like that. Then I look at people know me like, I look a lot of times like, you do the same thing. You need to run and tell that to somebody else and they'll go along with that foolishness. But when you come to Jamal going to pimp slap that foolishness. So this is the deal. So we know that it was the anniversary of Stonewall last week. And so again, Stonewall, which was a movement that basically gave rise with regards to, we see gay activism in particular. It becomes heavy gay activism with regards to that. And that's what I'm saying. That is probably because, again, it's about humanity, respecting humanity. So what happens is that First City Network here in Savannah, Georgia, First City Network in Savannah, Georgia, First City Network in Savannah, Georgia. I'm emphasizing that. They have a block party. And as I shared some folks in the video that I did, in a formerly Gullah Geechee community, because it's all been, as Reverend Small said, it's been economic segregation has occurred there. People call it regentification. So it's happened in the community. In fact, I know the community because that's one of the communities that I grew up in. That's why I know it. That's why, again, all of Savannah is personal to me. All Savannah is personal to me. That's why, because I'm all around and have friends all around. So they have the block party. And so, of course, they have vendors there. And what occurs, and I shared this for folks. So one of my scholars asked me a question about, doing a voter registration table there at that event. I'm thinking, cool, yeah, you should be able to do that. I just shared some information with them. They made a contact with the folks. So again, let's look at it. We got the Roe versus Wade issue that decision that has come out that has not caused a flux in the entire country. And so now you have people in the LGBTQ community, which is doing Pride Month. June is Pride Month. They now have a block party. Again, great to have a celebration right there. Great for the people, great for the supporters, and all of that. But then what happens? They send information to my scholar, who I would say my scholar, my fam. They want to say to them that they need to make a donation of $100, essentially to do voter registration. I'm going to repeat. First City Network, which is a gay advocacy group right here, LGBTQ advocacy group here in Savannah, in Chatham County. They say to folks who want to do a voter registration table at the block party that they're having that they need to pay a fee of $100, or it can be construed as a donation of $100. What is the madness? What is the madness? What is the madness with regard to what has just happened? If anything, did I not talk about Caucasian women and about how they vote against their best interest? Why would you, as the First City Network or any gay activism organization or entity, why would you then tell someone who's about voter registration, not selling food, not selling items or jewelry, somebody is doing a public service? Why would you tell an organization or entity that wants to do a public service for the betterment of all of us? Because hopefully what will happen, it will be people who came to the event who are not registered voters, who will vote, who will register to vote, who then will vote in the best interest of all of us. See what I talk about being selfish? That's some selfish crap right there. But people don't want to call it out. See, because again, it's wrong to do something like that. No. You call it the truth. And that's why y'all hear me going and say, Wakil Jal Haq. Truth has arrived. And the rest of the falsehood must perish. Because falsehood by its very nature is bound to perish. That's some falsehood right there. When people, just like organizations I'm affiliated with, or events I'm affiliated with, when they tell them they want to have a voter registration table, there's no fee for the people. They go and say, okay, you got your own table. What? You can come on and do it, register to vote. Because we understand the power of that. We understand the power of voting. All you do is be like the stupid people who say we shouldn't vote. That's why I'm like saying, no. You go and stand up and get people registered to vote who are going to be in the best interest of all of us. Who going to vote in the best interest of all of us. That is what the deal is. It is in the best interest of all. We need to get I tell people, some people heard me say this, we have to get good people involved in all of this right here. Because good people, if we all come together, we can form a web around the madness and the stupidity, and we can get rid of it. But if we don't do that, then we continue to live in this world of madness and confusion and hatred. And again, disgust, people who don't want to give up the power right now. So I had said, what should happen? First City Network, and if any of y'all know and support them on the board or anything like that, y'all need to tell them to contact my fam, my scholar, and say, hey, listen, we're going to have some other events, and we want you to come and register people to vote. That's what you should be doing, as opposed to being selfish, that you're looking at just from a money standpoint. oh, there's a method to the madness. Why I just brought this up, because the very time when I got the information about what happened on Friday with that information, I then was with some people who are not from here. And they saw me looking at my phone when I was looking at the message. And I then shared with them. I said, hey, listen, because they were out there interviewing me. I then told them, and they said, oh, guess what happened? They said that's what happened in this city last year. And that people began to realize that pride activities and events are also monetized. Capitalism. That they monetize it. They take advantage of it. People not even really concerned, who don't even believe it, who don't support it, truly. But they see that, bam, dollars. The ching, 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 ching. They see that. And they're going to put up there and slap it up there and see black folks got upset about Walmart, you know, with regards to Kwanzaa, and looking at some other places that had they got upset about Kwanzaa being commercialized, and also Juneteenth. Juneteenth was Walmart. But then again, now I thought Kwanzaa, Juneteenth, commercialized. Dr. King's birthday, commercialized. All that. Black History Month, commercialized. They look at, black folks look at that and see, we think it's just us. I'm telling folks, no, it's not. You better realize that capitalism will monetize everything. And people don't even really support you, but they understand to get that ching, 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 ching. So now here it is. Look at this. You have the LGBTQ community, sorry about that, who don't even see the power of having people to register to vote at their event. Now, I say that's not all of them, but at least I'm just saying that's an organization, a prominent organization who has somebody in charge. I'm going to say maybe it's probably not the organization. Maybe it was the person that was in charge of the event or the contact person. They didn't grasp the magnitude of it. So if you had that decision from the Supreme Court, what you should be saying, yo, listen, we got to get more progressive people in place. That's what should happen. And then with regards to that, then so, you know, of course, some of them are Caucasian females. So then they should be understanding about empowering what is about to happen. Because again, change is about to happen, because now that's why I was waiting to get to this. Clarence Thomas went and threw out some stuff, and Tiff, you threw it out there with regards to marriage. Laws have to be created with regards to marriage for lesbian and gay marriages. So guess what? Tiff? Clarence Thomas, our homeboy from Georgia, has not thrown it out there to people that they're going to need to look at gay marriage. That's people. So he's planting a seed. What he's doing, he's planting a seed. He's planting a seed right now in other people who are not. Again, some of these politicians who are their nephews, their sons, their brothers, their husbands, their granddaddies, and their daddies, and their cousins, to now say that we now need to come at that. See, that's why I tell folks, see, black folks understand that type of stuff. We understand that if you give, again, racist people, oppressors, even an inch of something, they're not going to use that. They're not going to take an entire mile of it. And that's of your individual rights. They're going to try to take a mile of your individual rights away from you, when actually you only had a half a mile anyway. You had only a half a mile of individual rights. And so now they're going to take a mile of it to make sure to put you in your place. See, African Americans, we understand that. We know that dynamics. That's why I say, so other people need to step back. When you start talking about civil rights and human rights, what you better be doing, you need to step back and let black folks be the ones who lead the charge, because we've had to deal with this for 400 years, the onslaught on our humanity. So that does give us some experience with regards to something, because we have the people within our work, within our body. This is not some fanciful stuff right there, no intellectual stuff right here. This is great. On the boots, groundwork that people know about and have been engaging in. So here you go. Again, now, and some people, and I had someone say to me, well, you know, black trans have suffered at the hands of black people. And I understand that, and I respect that. But then I also told the person, I said, but guess what? LGBTQ community persons have aided and embedded in the oppression of, let's say, black people. We don't want to talk about that. J. Edgar Hoover, Roy Cohn. Do we want to talk about that? So then now I tell folks, that why I say I'm Pan-African. I believe in the unity of everybody, so I can bring it all together, and our workers fight for anyone. So I said, don't try to then compartmentalize me and say, okay, that this group right here has experienced a lot of oppression at the hands of other black people. I'm like, I'm not going to absolve that oppressor like that. And so I'm going to say, but to them, I'm saying, so guess what? You have African Americans who are not Christians. And guess what? Some people, what they're going to do, Tiff, I was going to get in that. That's why, and some of them, they fight for gay and lesbian issues, queer issues, before fighting for black issues. When I'm like saying, no, we all got to come together as one. And we look at each one. Now I say, when I respect your humanity, regardless if you are queer, you are a trans, then I got to respect you. And guess what? We got to work together, because our story is, no matter what other people try to tell you, our story is still tied together, interwoven. But you're going to fight on behalf of them when some of them, same ones you fighting for, oppress us. And it's in the history. It's seen. It's acknowledged. But we trying to, like, I got a blind side. No, that's why I say truth has arrived, baby. Whenever the African spirit comes, Jamal comes around, you know truth is coming. Not nothing personal. It's the truth. So that way we can end this madness right here. So with regards to that, we need folks who are lesbian, gay, trans, bisexual, queer, we need them also to understand that your blackness has also been oppressed, and that sometimes you all oppress black people who may not be Christians. Somebody like, wait a minute, Jamal. When I share it with somebody, I say, guess what? You have black folks who are not Christians, who people then go and look at them and tell them, say, you're going to hell. And so, and they fall within those categories. So that's why I tell them, so stop all of it and just understand that we bring our blackness, again, that unity, we come together. And so then we go and take it to other people and say, hey, this is how you need to function also. So again, we don't go and compartmentalize and try to separate us, because that's what the oppressors want. Oppressors operate like that. And so when we get engaged in these conversations, so yes, so that is the sex. Yeah. We need people to be intelligent. We need folks to register folks to vote, and we need people to vote the right way. We need you to stop voting on racial lines, because that's what they do. They vote on racial lines, but then tell us when we do it, we're absolutely wrong for doing it. But sometimes the person look like us got a better platform, a more sensible platform, a platform of humanity. Again, a platform of humanity. That's what I want to hit y'all with. So now we go to the violence. Violence. I was contacted on Friday. Message was sent to me and said that this happened right here in Carver Village. Happened in Carver Village. They said it happened in Carver Village, Jamal. And they said people need to march over to their Inmark Arena and let it be known and shut them down over there. Let them understand. Because again, in our community, we are constantly under siege. Constantly. It doesn't stop. Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown, Philando Castile, Botham Jean. It continues. Sandra Bland, Eleanor Bumpurs. Let's go back to the 70s and 80s, Eleanor Bumpurs. Let's go back there. That it continues to this day. And somebody, at least the report that I have, got shot down in the back. And that you have law enforcement officers who had a siege mentality in Carver Village. Carver Village got a siege mentality. And so we have violence happening right there. And I think that is the 8th police shooting that has occurred since June of last year in the city of Savannah. And people are talking about the other shootings that are occurring in the community also, between people in the communities. That is a problem. But then we should be up in arms, especially when the people who are sworn to protect and serve, when they're not protecting or serving, but when they are shooting. When they're engaging in activity that cause harm to family members, and then we got to run around here and try to develop a strategy or plan to like basically lessen the concerns of the community. And all what happens then, that somebody else will get shot in August. Somebody else gets shot in November. Somebody else getting shot in December. And then somebody else gets shot in February. Somebody else gets shot in March. Somebody else gets shot in May. That law enforcement. Because again, remember I talked about this thing about humanity? See, I value my humanity, but other people do not value our humanity. And sometimes they're sworn, again, to protect and serve, but instead they're shooting. And so people are saying, with regards to this, we should be demanding some justice here right now. We should be demanding. Somebody say, wait a minute, Jamal, they haven't completed the investigation. It is too many shootings of Black folks and poor people in this city. Too many shootings by law enforcement. I'm talking about law enforcement right now. I'll get to the other element. By law enforcement. Too many shootings have happened. So again, that means that whenever I'm driving, I leave my house, there's a possibility that a law enforcement officer could kill me. And then don't come to me about blue lives matter. If blue lives truly matter, then black lives will matter. And guess what? Black lives don't matter at all. And blue lives matter, but then black lives don't matter. So again, you minimize my humanity. Oh yes, even if they are African American and they're shooting black folks and they're law enforcement, that doesn't mean anything, because guess what? That's how the oppressor works. That people who uphold the institution of oppression will do that. Were they not overseers on plantations that destroy black people also? Because again, they get a little benefit. Now, guess what? You can't come running at me, say Jamal doesn't support the police. That's a lie. I have relatives who are police officers, been involved with police officers, got family members, got scholars of mine who are police officers, but I go and tell them that they understand what it's about, that it's like this, that and it wasn't me, but it was some African-American officers who came up with something called 15-70-15. What does that mean? That 15% of officers are good and do the right thing all the time. 70% of officers, they're like, they just right there in the middle. And so then you got other 15% that them jokers are ruthless, they are awful, they are bad. And what happened, it depends on which 15% those other 70% are around when something goes down. And then someone that 70%, like some of us, we just sit there and we wait and we want to be guided by people. And so what the deal is, that those black officers who came up with that concept said that we must increase the number of 15% of officers who are good and decrease that number, that's 70%. And that other 15%, hey, we got to get them out. So that's why I throw it out there to you all, that again, we see this right here and we should be up in arms, just like with regards to Roe v. Wade decision. We should be up in arms about this, and we should be speaking out and standing out with regards to the same issue with regards to police shootings here in the city of Savannah, Chatham County. It is improper. It is not correct. And thank God that we had some officers at another situation over in Garden City, because as some people say, it was kind of tantamount that they were looking at trying to kill that young black man over there too. But for you had black officers over there who kind of who were looking and who were asserting who they are, that they got an interest in this right here, that they did not go and shoot them down because they not respecting our humanity. So violence, we need to go and address this. And some of y'all going to be sleeping on this right here. And guess what? You're going to sleep on it until they kill one of your relatives. And guess what? They kill you. You're gone. So you can't do nothing about it at all. So violence with regards to in our communities, that was between people, residents of the communities. We understand what that's about. Excuse me, drinking some of Fasara's lemonade. Like I said, Fasara's lemonade and Latasha D. Queen Blends. Our sister Latasha, and so has Queen Blends. Fasara's in Durham. Sister Latasha is here in Savannah, Chatham County, Georgia. So we understand what's going on. It's again the system of oppression, and some of y'all know I never let I never let oppressors get away with stuff. We always go and pinpoint and say what we're not doing. Look at what's going on in our communities. Yeah, look at the poverty that's in our communities. Look at the lack of education in our communities, opportunities in our community. Look at that. Crime is tied to opportunities, that's tied to poverty and education. Look at what's happening in our community. It's not about people just fighting over women, as some people try to say they're fighting over women or fighting over drugs. It is oppression going on in those communities. And then you got people traumatized in those communities. No one is addressing the trauma in the community. Oh, no, there's one person that I've heard her constantly speak about it, and that's Alderwoman Keisha Gibson Carter, talking about the trauma that's happening in our community. So the behaviors that you see being exhibited is tied in part to the trauma that's happening in our community that we see on a regular. So it becomes normalized for us to function like this. Heard what I just said? It becomes normal for us to function like that. And people accept this. People, that is okay, that's what happened in the black community. And then so that's why you gotta have people that come and go rescue the black community. Oh, excuse me. I say rescue. No, they come in and change the community, because what was said, and this was said by elected officials here, that when you have this economic resegregation that occurs, like based on what Reverend Small said, gentrification, as others going to say, that they make the community better. because now you get out the credence, you get out the creatures, you get out the bad people, you get out the bad seeds out those neighborhoods. But then guess what? You get rid of all the people out the neighborhood. You don't just get rid of the bad seeds. You know, you get rid of everybody, and those people are now gone. And then people are constantly asking me, where did they go, Jamal? I said, they don't care where they go. They just get them out. They just go, bam. So that when they economic resegregate those neighborhoods. So that's what then happens. And so guess what? But you got wholesale trauma in all of our communities, and ain't nobody provide counseling to us. Nobody. And so this is the deal. Just like I said, yes, they rescue and save those neighborhoods. That's right. No, what we're saying now, we need to speak up and stand up and demand help for our children. Because just like I shared at the Dear Young People event, I had said this right here. Here goes some of us, we get mad about not having bricks on the sidewalk or bricks on a building because they did a donation and the Board of Education has a policy on what things that they're working on. We get mad about that. But guess what? We don't get mad that the very children going to the school where your bricks supposed to be at have trauma going on in it. We don't stand up for that at all. We don't stand up for it at all. That's right. Thank you, Sister Lydia Stevens. And that's great. And you correct again, Tim, and my brother, Dr. Robert Bryant. Yes, well, we're just trying to give it to the people. So here you go. Y'all get mad about, as I told you, get mad about the bricks not being up yet. But here you go, children from the neighborhood that's your high school that you're so proud of, got shootings and got homicides, got murder happening right there all the time. Not all the time, a lot. Got violence right there. And you don't go into those communities to even ask for some counseling that now occur for these people right here, for the trauma that's happened, that's inflicted upon them. That's what I'm telling you. That's that craziness. That's that selfishness also on some of us. That again, you get your material goods and you have about your material goods, but then here go children who are not just witness shootings or been around shootings or even around a homicide. They got to go to school the next day. Jamal, what did you just say? They have to go to school the next day. They got to function in school. Traumatized by this violence that's in the community. And guess what? The people who are so intelligent, the ones with their degrees, the ones with their money, got their jobs, they got their career, they got their fine house, they got all that right there. And here go children traumatized to go to the school that y'all talk about, or go to, or from the church that you go to the church that you go to. You ain't even trying to fight for them to even have any counseling. Then guess what? Then you got that elderly woman, that elderly man in the neighborhood also. Traumatized. They have to live there. They have now retired, so they're there all the time. So they're traumatized. Are you all advocating and fighting for them to get counseling? For people to do counseling, for the city of Savannah, Chatham County to do counseling, for our state representatives to get some counseling to those people right there because they're in these traumatized communities? No. Because you're not concerned about more going and, smoking your cigar or drinking your wine or your margaritas or your tequilas, and you're eating your dinner, eating your fine dinner, your fine lunch, but you ain't concerned about the people from the neighborhood that you grew up in or who some of the people go to your church to. You ain't got no concern about them like that. You don't see them at the bus stop. You see them at the bus stop. You don't even have a concern about them like that. But they're all going to be concerned about some other frivolous stuff right there when people are traumatized. Then let's go to the adults. I ain't forget about the adults, the middle-aged people. Then guess what? They are in those communities also. And then guess what happened for them? They didn't got to go to work. They got to go to work. They got to go work at that hotel downtown, work in that restaurant downtown. They got to go work at Memorial. They got to go work at Cameron St. Joe's. They got to go work at a board as a custodian. They got to go work. They come out those communities, and so now they got to go to work. Traumatized and stigmatized that they live in that neighborhood right there. Traumatized. And ain't nobody talking about counseling for the people, except for, like I say, Alderman Keisha Gibson-Carter has said that repeatedly. And some people listen to her, but others ignore it. Nobody's fighting to try to help alleviate the pain and the anguish that caused the violence in the community. Hear what I just said? No one fighting like they should to alleviate the pain and the anguish in the community that brings about violence. Wow. That's a sad statement, a sad indictment on us right here. And so again, I put myself in it too, because like I said, I do what I can, but then I know that You know, I don't separate myself from the community. Again, Pan-African. So that's why I'm saying, when you ain't doing, that means that I'm not doing. That's what that means. That I'm not doing enough. I gotta do more to try to, because you ain't doing nothing. I gotta do more. And I'm not even making it up. I'm not even do more. So I'm like saying, wow. And yes, absolutely. Being act out, feeling, and that's Sister Lynn, that's right. It is absolute hopelessness. And that, guess what? That hopelessness goes from when they are children to teenagers. Excuse me, I'm going from children to adolescents to teenagers to a high school graduate or a high school student that now go on and now become an adult in the community, and then even become grandparents and become elders in the community. Yeah, hopelessness. And so that's why I said we should be doing the work to bring back that hope. That's why I said I'm not even doing enough, because my brothers and sisters are in pain and in anguish, and I got to do more. That's why I'm not doing enough, and that's why we need more of y'all to be out there too. Again, as I said, remember I talked about the good people? Good people, when we surround that madness, we can then end it all. So yes, I need some of y'all to like get rid of the selfishness that y'all have and now step up to the plate and look out for our community, look out for our brethren, our sisters in our communities, and look at all Savannah. It's not Sister Tiffany. All right, Tiffany put it out there, and I ain't even gonna go to that. And that Tiffany, that you are absolutely correct. That what happened, because it's all in them. That's why I talked that about, because it's all in them. And see, some of y'all might not have picked up on, but Tiffany just helped y'all out because it's all in them. So subconscious, that's what they're going to do. That is it exactly. They're not going to exhibit it. That's why I said that balance. That balance just ain't happening. The sister lady put out. It just ain't happening in no vacuum like that. It just ain't happening in a vacuum like that. It is based on the fact that all of it's in them right now. It's in them, and no healing has come about. Some of y'all like talk about healing and God will save us. God tell you to take action. So again, that action is now you got to help the people heal with regards to this. And so guess what? But we don't go and help them heal. And so yes, and as Sister Tiffany said, they then go on to hurt other people. Hurt people. Some of y'all heard hurt people hurt other people, and that's what they're going to do. And subconsciously, they're doing it because they're so in much pain and anguish that all they can do get it on out, because they're so hopeless that they got to get it on out, and they have to inflict it on somebody else, make somebody else feel bad, make somebody else feel the pain, and see, because by them feeling bad, feeling worse than me, guess what? I feel a little better, and so I got to constantly do that right there, and I got to constantly go after them. And so now we move on to religion, sex, violence, religion. Religion. Now what has happened, again, our Supreme Court has now basically starting to muddle the lines of separation of church and state. If some of y'all do not realize this, the United States is not a Christian nation. The United States is not a Christian nation. The United States, unlike some other countries, does not have an official religion. So that means that's the beauty of this nation right here, that everyone, whoever comes here has a right to exercise religion the way that they deem fit. That's the beautiful thing. If you are a free thinker, an agnostic, or an atheist, guess what? This country allows you to be able to do that. That's what, again, unlike other places where they then basically, try to tell you, no, you got to pray a certain way, you got to practice a certain faith. And if you do not, then you get oppressed. But we have seen this in history. We've seen countries that still exist right now, that's what it's about. If you are not following the state religion, the religion that is sanctified by the government, then you are subject to oppression. For instance, for some people, they're called gypsies, but some people call them the Roma. The Roma experienced some of this also in Europe. That's why I tell people, don't be coming and talking about how Europe is other stuff like that. I'm like, listen, when you tell me about some European city or country, I'm going to tell you about some oppression that's happening right there. See, that I tell people, you can't come run up on Jamal with that type of craziness like that. But again, that becomes a nice tale. Just like people say, in California, we don't have no hate in California. What the world? Get out of that foolishness right there. That's insanity. Oh, no, we get along. I'm like, yo, I can tell you about some issues happening to black folks right there tied to other groups of people. I ain't going to bring it out there right now. But here go religion. Religion should be a unifying force, and that's why God talks to you all. The Creator talks to you all and say, hey, Skid Row will say otherwise. So, but instead, we use religion as a divisive tool to break down people, not to respect one another. I tell folks, guess what? When you understand other religions, you can find some connection with regard to your own spiritual foundation. Because I've asked folks this question at times. I said that, how many doors are to the house of God? How many doors are to the house of God? And then you'd be surprised. Some people go say one. And automatically, I already know that person got to have an expanded concept, because the concept is like just one. Some people are going to say two. Then I had some other people going to say many. I said, that's right. That's right. Because if somebody has not been touched by Jesus or Moses or Muhammad or any of the Sabians, if they have not been touched by any of them, then you can't go and say those people are doomed to hell. You can't go and say that stuff to the hellfire. You can't go and say that, because God sent other people to talk and give them a foundation for them how to conduct themselves. So I might tell people that again, that's insanity. But now we're looking at a country right here that's going to use religion, use the cover of religion to now oppress people. Or it has been going on, but now they're going to throw it out there. And that's why I say again, listen to the words that have been uttered by your homeboy from Georgia named Clarence Thomas. He's trying to set a path up right now on how something should be done with regards to the court system and politicians. Politicians and also the courts and judges are now going to be trying to basically legislate, control a variety of matters with regards to your individual rights and under the guise of religion. And that's how they get some of us that. And so I'm going to say this right here. And some of the people who don't have the heart to stand up and speak out for religion, you may not believe this, are some ministers who know right, but choose not to do it because they don't want to basically infringe upon sources for income. For some of them, I'm just being frank, sources for income, from if it's tithes or offerings or to outside jobs that they have. That again, we tell folks they should be standing up and speaking out, not with regards to just saying have something that's soft, not soft, something that's safe, just having a prayer vigil. We need you to take in some action. We need you walking that walk like Jesus. That's why I tell people I love Jesus, because Jesus was about some action. Jesus was about action, not just about prayer. Jesus was about action, not just about prayer. Prayer and action go hand in hand. And so right now, we're going to see people now trying to basically, if you found different spiritual foundations, you might find that there might be people infringing upon you. And again, but they're going to try to use the cover of religion and what the courts have now been moving towards, now to engage in that, and politicians not engaging in that. So that's why, again, and they have no problem making people feel uncomfortable. And so are some of the people who feel more susceptible to being uncomfortable are children. Because that's why some of the stuff they step into the plate with is going to make children feel uncomfortable, because some children in some of the Supreme Court cases, they discuss that, again, when they interview folks, that they felt uncomfortable about some of this because that's not how they practice their religion at home and their families. But they felt that if they didn't do it, then guess what? Then people are going to give them the side. People are going to look at them funny. So now we put this inordinate amount of pressure on people that this is what they got to engage in, and engage in this falsehood. And that's why I tell folks it's falsehood, because God is real. God is real, and God asks that you be real and that you look out for your brother and your sister, not that you criticize and critique them and hate them, and oppress them. And I should say, really, when I say criticize them, I'm talking about come up the oppression with regards to come up with lies against them. So yes, religion, sex, violence, and religion, tools being used to basically water down our society. Oh, y'all thought that was other way, that we watered down religion. No, we watered down our society under the cloak of lies that we're going to try to assert that's tied to religion. I'm like, no, When you truly understand God, you are an agent for God. You are the Sabbathun of the Sabbathun. You are the vanguard of the vanguard, because God has us out there as vanguards to basically fight and go forward. That's our job. That's what we need to be doing. But some of us, like I said, we playing games and we are betraying, because what some of us going to do too, because that's our church member, we don't take action against them or say anything against them when they are doing wrong. But that's our minister. We say nothing against them. When I'm not saying they're doing wrong, we need to go ahead and call them out, and have heart with regards to this, because when you believe in God, God touches all of us. And that's why we have an obligation to go forward. That's why I tell people often, I have no fear of man or woman, because I love God. Because I love God, that's why I don't need to have any fear. But I see people who play the politics of religion. Politics of religion. That's why, again, your brother and sister does wrong, and you aid and abet them in their oppression against other people. That's not supposed to happen. And so this segment of Run Tell That has been just that. Run Tell That. Go out there and let folks know, let Caucasian women know, they need to do more right now. They need to stand up to the plate. Because I just had a conversation with one woman, not on the Brown, on the Roe versus Wade, but what happened was that, yes, ma'am, Reverend Betty Jones, we should be truthful all the time. That's what it's about, being real about it all the time. And I told her, she tried to tell me that something good that they were doing about the saving of a house. I'm like, yo, the community needs to be saved. You save that house all you want, but you need to save that community right there, and then take a stand on the Whipping Time property. You need to be taking a stand with that. And she was like, oh, and my thing was like, no, see, because you got this privilege and you can do that, right? You can be selfish like that. But Black folks, we don't have the power to be selfish like that, because we understand we got to be selfless, because we understand you let them take an inch, they were going to take an entire mile where we have only a half a mile of rights. So again, on Run Tell That, we're saying to all of you, stand up, speak out, take action, get involved, find out what's going on with regard to what happened in Carver Village. We demand justice with regards to that. We demand justice for that. Look at what's happening in our community when we have violence, and what's happening to our children, our adults, and everyone. Look at what's happening. Demand that we have counseling for our people. Whenever this happens, that we need to have counselors right there, not just at a school that in Uvalde, or school down in Florida, or school up in Connecticut. No, we need it in our communities also right now, because that's why, again, as Tiffany and Lydia would have put out there, that bam, they're not going to cause pain to other people. And that with regards to voter registration, we say to anyone who falls within the category of saying that they are a minority on the press group, you have people register to vote, so they can now take action and go and vote and bring about changes with regards to who are going to be responsible leaders, and leaders with responsible platforms that are progressive platforms. And so with regards to those of you who believe in God, the people of God will stand up for God's children, for their brethren and their sisters, and make sure that they all are taken care of, not just them with regards to that you have your wonderful stuff, but your brethren and sisters have not. That's not what God wants. God wants all of us to have, and that's what we are here for. Run Tell That. Glad to have you all on the show joining us tonight, and we'll see you all next week. So we say to y'all, peace and blessings. Oh.
I like that.